Within every heart lies the ember of drive. Despite life's setbacks, you hold the power to fan it into a blazing flame once more. Goals and aspirations beckon, yet a chain binds your ankle. A restraint only the willpower of your heart can shatter. When willpower falters, motivation emerges, a spark igniting passion, fueling determination, and empowering us to conquer adversity. Motivation is the fuel that powers our journey towards success. As American author and motivational speaker Zig Ziglar famously said, "People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, that's why we recommend it daily." Maintaining a steady supply of motivation is essential for sustaining momentum and staying committed to our objectives. If you find yourself lacking motivation, search anew, both within and without. Silence the voice of demotivation and instead push yourself, superimposing on the unhelpful one with, "You can achieve more, you can do better, you strive today for excellence right tomorrow." Indeed you can. For when world has so much to offer, and all you need to do is reach out your hands and take it. Motivation serves as a relevant prompt, an incisive guide, and a high-octane catalyst. Guided by a strong sense of purpose and passion, we are more inclined to push beyond our comfort zones and explore new territories. As acclaimed motivational speaker Les Brown aptly puts it, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss it, you will land among the stars." Motivation has us aiming high, and we do aim highest as we can, knowing that if we fall, we are right onto the second place on the top. Motivation empowers us to overcome setbacks and persevere in the face of adversity. As British politician and author Winston Churchill famously remarked, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." In times of difficulty, courage, as manifested in form of a trenchant motivator's voice, that enable us to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and forge ahead with renewed resilience. The power of motivation lies in its ability to instill belief and confidence in our capabilities. High we are on motivation, we exude self-assurance and conviction that inspire others to believe in our vision. Essentially, motivation creates a ripple effect, enabling a collective belief in the potential for success, and empowering both ourselves and others to strive towards achieving it. Motivation plays a significant role in shaping the chemistry of our minds, influencing various neurochemical processes that impact our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. When we experience motivation, whether it stems from intrinsic desires or external stimuli, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine in the brain. These chemicals are associated with feelings of pleasure, reward, and arousal, creating a sense of enthusiasm, drive, and focus. What if none of this ever actually works? Despite the profound effects of motivation on brain chemistry, some individuals may struggle to experience or sustain motivation due to various factors. Chronic stress, depression, low self-esteem, or neurological conditions make the list. They can disrupt the delicate balance of neurotransmitters in the brain, making it challenging to feel motivated or experience pleasure from activities. In cases where individuals feel immune to motivation, there are ways to resensitize yourself. Address underlying issues contributing to this motivation immunization. This could involve seeking support from mental health professionals, implementing lifestyle changes such as exercise, healthy eating, daily dose of deliberate wool gathering, and adequate sleep. Or exploring techniques such as cognitive behavioral therapy or mindfulness to recultivate motivation and enable bounce-back ability after doldrums or defeat. When you feel like you're more likely to be demotivated than motivated, listen to this ancient story about a prisoner of war. Lucas, he was named. In the heart of a war-torn land, amidst the chaos and devastation of conflict, Lucas, a brave soldier, had been captured during a daring attempt to sabotage enemy operations. Despite his imprisonment, Lucas remained defiant, harboring hopes of escape with each passing day. Time and again, Lucas devised elaborate plans to break free from his captor's clutches. As generic as it sounded, each attempt ended in failure, met with harsh punishment and relentless discouragement from his captors. With each setback, Lucas's spirit waned, and he resigned himself to a life of forced labor within the confines of the enemy compound. Then the usual ensued. Days turned into weeks, weeks months, and months millennia. As the political climate shifted and the tides of war ebbed and flowed, Lucas remained oblivious to the changing circumstances outside the walls of his prison. He toiled away in silence, his spirit broken by the weight of the prolonged captivity. Unbeknownst to Lucas, the enemy forces were in disarray, retreating in the face of heavy resistance from advancing allies. However, within the confines of the compound, Lucas endured not only the physical torment inflicted upon him, but also the relentless assault on his psyche. This mental anguish alone extinguished his hope and shattered his will to resist. Amidst the darkness of his despair, Lucas stumbled upon a piece of parchment tucked away in a forgotten corner of his cell. On it were written the words of wisdom. A chain of which one end is tied to a sprig stuck on the ground, and the other end to a noose around the elephant's neck would discourage the elephant from escaping. Words, as he read, washed over him like a wave of cosmic bliss. He understood that his captivity was not merely a physical constraint imposed by his captors, but also a mental prison of his own making. Lucas felt a surge of motivation coursing through his veins, propping up his sense of clarity and resolve. This newfound insight had Lucas begin to inspire his fellow prisoners, urging them to defy their oppressors and reclaim their freedom. He rose as a beacon of hope amidst the darkness, igniting a spark of rebellion that spread like wildfire throughout the compound. As the enemy forces were thinning further, Lucas and his fellow prisoners snatched the whip from their oppressor's hand, liberating themselves from the chains of captivity that had bound them for so long. The world operates in a much more complicated manner than merely providing the plot armor seen alongside the straightforwardness of a real soldier's fate. Let's make it not generic as one that ChatGPT spits out. Lucas must die to make the twist more reflective of our circumstances. After all, we all have that chain-attached sprig in our heart, a ruthless mammoth though we crack out to be. The worst-case scenario for Lucas was that sprig was going to sting as he plucked, that being an equivalent of whatever that held us back in each and every one of us. But hold on, take a moment and reconsider this platitude for the umpteenth time. The ultimate destination of our existence is death, an inevitable fate that awaits us all regardless of how we live. This fact remains indisputable and unalterable. What we can control is how we choose to live our lives. Consider Lucas as a representation of us, our stuck self. Perhaps, in a sense, Lucas was already resigned to a metaphorical death from the moment of his captivity. Attempting to change our circumstances, seizing opportunities when they arise, offers us a chance to avoid being trapped in a state worse than death for the majority of our lives. It is about making our existence meaningful and worthwhile, despite the certainty of our eventual demise. Alongside that piece of parchment about elephant and its sprig was another, on which the most inspiring quote from Steve Jobs written. "The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle," said Steve Jobs. Maybe the only thing left to do in the last moments of Lucas's life was fighting for his freedom. The drowning man's desperation left him with only one path he could only love to do. So why not the motivation of the most radical kind to make the bitter pill go down more easily? But thank God, audience of Matha Wisdom is blessed with Turtle's longevity. You don't have to go Lucas's way and burn your boats. There is no excuse then, for your crestfallen self stares out of a mirror every morning. Here are final words. Let us remember the words of American author and motivational speaker Jim Rohn. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. By cultivating a habit of motivation, we can unleash our greatest potential, a journey we must embark on, of boundless possibility and growth.